Te Party Māori is calling on Prime Minister Chris Hipkins to announce an equity-focused financial relief fund for whanau who have lost homes and belongings in flood-affected areas all across Aotearoa. Te Party Māori co-leader Rawiri Waititi is with us now from Rotorua. Tēnā koe, Rawiri. Thank you for joining us.
Kia ora, Neil. And just in your last speaker, I think technical difficulties is the least of his worries.
Okay. Now, you've said this financial relief needs to have equity at its heart. What do you mean by this, and what do you think is the best way forward?
Well, the best way forward for us, first of all, is to look at, a government-supported insurance policy that supports whanau. If you look at a few years ago, the government bailed out $1.6 billion with South Canterbury Finance, $500 million at AMI. And so, those were targeted at those who were, those rich people that were able to be part of those particular companies. This is the time that we need it now. Not only that, but this flooding, this type of weather event has created more issues on top of the cost of living for those who are poor. And this is not just a bailout. Not once did we say we needed to bail out Māori. No, this is for whanau. And so there are struggling whanau right across this particular issue. And so the Māori Party is calling on the government to support those more vulnerable whanau who don't have the financial support, but deserve the financial support, as those who are part of South Canterbury Finance and AMI and many of the banks that the government continue to bail out time and time again. Yeah. And so this is the time to put people first before profit.
And we know that thousands of whanau and families have been impacted by these recent floods. Many don't have insurance. What are some of the stories you're hearing on the ground about challenges facing those hurting?
Well, look, many of our people are, if they're not homeowners, they're renters. And so, contents insurance, actually finding another home. You're going to have hundreds who are going to be left destitute on the streets. And so we must act now. One of those things is, yes, you can have the political gains in the announcement made yesterday by the government, but they are not long-term gains. They will not make a difference to our whanau. If you look at free transport, public transport, that doesn't affect those who are in rural areas, and we're talking about the Northern who have also been hit by these environmental catastrophes, the coast, and so we need to look at hard-hitting policies. I can tell you one that will make a big difference right now is taking GST off kai. 79% of New Zealanders who have taken the poll in the recent days have said that they support taking GST off kai. The government must act now, support my private member's bill, and take GST off kai to relieve many of our whanau just putting bread and butter on their tables for their whanau.
Well, let's take a look now at the recent polling, which interestingly saw a surge for Labour and the new Prime Minister. I asked David Seymour a similar question, interested to get your comments. What do you make of these results? Surprising at all? Well,
the thing that's not surprising us over the last year and a half, 2 years, is that Te Party Māori is still sitting there as the kingmaker. And that last poll showed that we'll be a hung government. But I can tell you now, we will get more than 2 seats heading into this election. And so we expect that those major parties come and talk to us. But again, Te Party Māori is not interested in working with parties that are not committed to creating a tiriti-centric Aotearoa. And I do not buy into Acts One Nation type corridor, because Te Tiriti o Waitangi recognise the protection of the existing rights of tangata whenua. In Article 2, to have full and exclusive rights to our estates, to our taonga, to our moana, to our whenua. And so to cancel culture, tangata whenua, within your policies, to look at policies that actually cancel out Māori development, women's rights, Pacific peoples, all of those types of things is damaging. And we will not be supporting any government that looks at having that type of rhetoric in any government heading forward. Te Tiriti o Waitangi was about protecting the pre-existing rights, treating people equally, and the right to kāwanatanga, which has been on this whenua for the last 180 years.
Now, just very quickly, before you go, the Prime Minister and Waitangi Day have not been without controversy over the years. Are you seeing any potential problems on Monday, and what does Waitangi Day mean to you?
Waitangi Day to me is the recognition of a tiriti-centric Aotearoa that does recognise the mana of tangata whenua and the Crown, coexisting here in this country. But it doesn't mean we coexist under one mana, where the Union Jack constantly covers the tiriti o Waitangi. Like Apere Hamatāunui said from the north, kaua kara te tiriti o Waitangi uhia ki te haki o Ingarangi, me uhia ki te kahu Māori. Controversy comes with progression, and so our people must continue to push this government to progress towards the tiriti o Waitangi, our tipuna envisaged. And so, I welcome our people to voice their concerns. I continue to encourage our people to voice their disdain and their treatment over the last 200 years. And it is now time for this country to move towards transitioning our constitution to reflect a more tiriti-centric Aotearoa. And those are the kōrero that we should be having on Waitangi. Those are the kōrero that should be hitting the heart of our people. Whether you're tangata whenua, whether you're tangata tiriti, it's now time to move forward as a nation that reflects the tiriti o Waitangi at its core.
Te Party Māori co-leader Rawiri Waititi, appreciate you taking the time to kōrero today, ngā mihi.
Kia ora.